So, are you ready for a little adventure today? We're going to start working on one of these dirty projects, and I want to explain to you what we're doing here. We've got this extra camera stand here, and it's going to be recording from above so that you can see exactly what I'm seeing when I'm working with this stuff. And I will also have this phone recording to let you look at it from a different angle, and we'll see how this two-camera thing works. So we're going to set you up here, so give me a minute or two. Okay, so we've got things set up. We'll take a look at what we've got here. Now, got to protect my clothes and hands from the dirt on this project we're going for here. And so I'm going to be using some plastic exam gloves, because this dirt is going to be at least 125 years old and could be as much as 145 years old. So we're going to get ourselves ready for that. Find the thumb here. Go around this way. Okay. Now we're at my house again, because the folks that cleaned up our place at the center should not have me dropping all this dirt back in their fine work. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about what it is we're looking at here. You can see it's a roll of paper, and what we have here is something from the Lincoln Herald print shop, and it you straighten up your camera a little. You've got cattywampus there. Okay, now I've got a very important tool. I need a pair of scissors. I'll be right back. Now, this is a roll of paper from the Lincoln Herald print shop. It's been sitting in some attic for at least 125 years, maybe 145 years. So far, the things I've found from this collection that came to us from Sorrento's Pizza, fine folks over there recognize that these things might have some value historically to Lincoln and Logan County. So we're going to show you what's on this piece of paper. It says, it's actually saying Charitable Observer. It looks like it's August some year. Could have been anywhere from 1880 to 1890, or 1900 actually. But I've affectionately begun calling these things fire logs. When we got the shoe collection, we probably had a dozen of these, maybe even more. Maybe might have been closer to 2 dozen of these. And I took them all apart, and if you will remember our tour, I showed you those 3 boxes of the acid-free print on them, and those 3 boxes, there's probably about 4,000 artifacts in those 3 boxes that came out of rolls just like this. And I've got some more, so this won't be the only one we'll do. Since I know that it's the Charitable Observer, excuse me. And since I know it's a Charitable Observer, I've opened a couple from this. And the Charitable Observer was a newspaper put out by the Asylum for Feeble-Minded Children, which we know as the Lincoln Developmental Center. But the asylum started in 1875, was completed, the building was completed in 1877 and started accepting students then. And it was intended to be a student-oriented institution at that time. Okay, so we snipped the string that's holding it all together, and you can see and how they did this, and you can see I've got craft paper on my table to keep track of the dirt, and that's pretty much what you're seeing here is some kind of craft paper or foolscap or whatever they call it in newspaper business. But it is on the table. Once they're done with the project, they roll it all together, and we have what I call a fire log, because I can just see these things being thrown in the coal stove or wood stove to start a fire. And I imagine that's where a lot of these things went over the years that Courier, or not the Courier, but the Lincoln Herald was in progress. Now, since I have done these things before, I'm expecting to not find much in this one, because it's the notes that whoever wrote, and it's usually the superintendent of the institution, wrote these notes, and then they left it to the editor to put the stories together for the newspaper. And I will include a front page of one of the Charitable Observers that I did find in the earlier things. But you see what we've got here, it's just handwritten material, and it's not always readable, and you can't figure out the sequence for it. But let's just go through here and see if we can find something good in here. I was kind of hoping to find a Charitable Observer in here, but it doesn't look like we're going to be successful at that. So, but have no fear if this turns out to be a dud. I've got a box over here of loose papers that came out of a couple of these when they came to us. Well, maybe we've got a little bit of something here. So all these little notes were written by the superintendent, and show you what we've got here. And these are clippings from other newspapers about teaching children of limited ability. And boy, it's messy. I told you it was going to be messy. And you can see all the dirt that filtered in here. And if I was going to keep this, I would clean it up. And I'll show you how I do that in a little bit here. But it looks like we're going to have to go to the box to find something to really look at. If this was a finished product, I'd be very careful about cleaning it up and trying to keep it. But look here. What we have here is the proof copy for the particular paper that's here. And the editor has written this stuff out, and the compositor has put it in the print blocks and set the type. And so we have some idea. Let's see here. We have no page number on that one, but this one says page 6. It's titled Defective Children. So let's see if there's more to that here. Unroll this one, and that's page 7, or column 7, I don't know which just yet. And that one doesn't have a page number. So there's no way to really reconstruct the paper to find out what it is it looked like. And of course they would add in etchings and photographs or whatever else. And I'm not even finding a date here to go by to know what year this is. So this is kind of a bust. And that's, you know, we can't let the metal detectors find all the aluminum pull tabs. This is our version of the aluminum pull tab. But I do see on these scrap papers that they're using, and you can see they are cut from paper for the Illinois Asylum for Feeble-Minded Children. Better turn it around for this camera. You'll be looking at it upside down, won't you? But they use that to write their notes. And here we've got one of the teacher names, Miss M.E. Collins. And she teaches at the institution. And there were a lot of people who worked there over the years. But you can see that this is from 1888, and I'm sure it's well past 1880. Is why it's not being used for that particular thing. But you can see that we do get dirty. I've got more of these to go through, but this one is not worthy of the time it's going to take to save it. So I'm going to turn off the cameras for a second and get this mess cleaned up, and we'll take a look at some of the things that I have in this box over here from other rolls. So give me a minute. I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're back now. And I'm going to show you some of the tools we use here along the way too as we go through this. But this paper is the County Republican Convention. And the County Republican Convention of August 1900. So this is pretty nice. I've been practicing on cleaning, so I've already got this one cleaned up. But you can see that it's rolled. It was been in a roll, and it's got all these corners up. So what I'm going to have to do with this is put it in a humidifier for 3 days and get it laid flat, put it in my press after it gets humidified. As you can see, it's kind of brittle paper. You know, this corner is about ready to break off, and if it folds sharply like these two places over here, we're going to lose those corners. So we'll put that aside and look at the next one. Okay, what do we got here? We got, you can see it's just a little dirty. Been rolled up in that one of these rolls for 140 to 120 years. And that's the paper clip of the period. It's just a straight pin, and they pin all this stuff together with the straight pin, and before paper clips and before staples. Okay, so something here is rolled up. Oh, it's an advertisement from an insurance company and it says, "To our fellow policyholders in arrears, why allow your policy to lapse?" So this is a piece of advertising, and you can see the dirt on it, and we don't want the dirt to be there anymore. So we use a nice little pink rubber eraser to remove the dirt. And we gently, because this is the same kind of brittle paper that we looked at before, and we just start pulling the dirt off of the paper with the eraser. And we go all over it gently, going over the whole thing. Get the heavy parts first. But this dirt filtered into the roll it was in and settled on this. And yeah, I know I should be wearing a mask when I'm doing this, but if I do that, then you're not going to be able to hear what I've got to say. So we'll do a few of these so you can see how this is all done. And once we go over the whole thing, we have to do both sides. But you can see right there that that's pretty dirty too. And we're cleaning on this document, trying to get the dirt off so that it can go into a file for whatever business this is as part of its advertising. And if you look at my eraser, you can see that it's picking up a lot of dirt. Back when I was doing the Lincoln Herald work, I would have a dozen of these that would look like pieces of coal when I was done with them. And the way I clean them is that after supper, there's always something that doesn't go in the dishwasher, so there has to be some water run. And I would clean these up in that soapy water using a green scratch pad. Be careful on this pencil writing that's on the back here. So I don't go too heavy on it and erase what they had to say. Whatever kind of pencils they used back then really are good because they hardly ever erase. So we go over it, get it as clean as we can. You can't get everything because it stains the paper. That's one thing I was going to talk about with the other one, the first one. You can see these areas of dark color, and that's where the air has gotten to the paper and has allowed it to change that color. The lighter is where another piece of paper has been over it, and it's kept the air from getting at it. But again, you can see that it's quite wrinkled and needs to be flattened out. And this is whatever company. What company is it? This is insurance company. Well, let's go to the finished product. I believe this is the finished product because it says the same thing on the front. It says why policies are permitted to lapse. Why should you keep your policy with the Traders Life Insurance Company, Lincoln, Illinois. So we have let's see if we can open that up, or does it just appears to be two pieces of paper. There we go. Gently, gently. So we have all the text that's in this letter in this printed version, and it's much cleaner. Let me start with a fresh eraser here. Get this little bit off of here. Go over it just gently so that don't break anything. And I haven't seen a date on this one yet, but the secretary of the insurance company was H.E. Brown, Lincoln, Illinois. So he's the one that drafted the letter, and then the Lincoln Herald people laid it out, and this is kind of a layout version of this same piece, and ... showing that they need to continue with the rest of the text on here. So this was the layout, and you see the hole punched here. There's some more dirt. But once the project was finished, they would take this piece of paper and stick it on a spindle. I have a spindle back over here. A couple of them, I think. Grab one of those out and show you what it looks like in a little bit. We take another break here. But all these papers need to go in the humidifier, and they need to be flattened to get them into the right file. What do we got here? We have a legal notice. It's a chancery sale. And again, we got brittle brown paper. James T. Hoblet is one of our more prominent attorneys, and Edwin C. Puffrick, or it's a master in chancery. I'm not familiar with that name. But again, this is 1900. Again in 1900, so it's about 125 years old. But the names on here, and usually a chancery sale ends up, somebody will probably correct me on this, but this, as I understand it from what I've seen in the past, is that there's been an estate settled, and there's some property involved, and the part of the family wants to sell it, part of the family wants to keep it, and share alike on the proceeds that come off of the land. But then they have this court case to determine whether or not it's to be sold off. And we have the complainants and we have the defendants. So again, that one doesn't seem to have a whole lot of dirt. Now here's some up here. But some of that dirt gets worked into the paper, and it'll stay there forever, because we don't want to mess it up to get at it. So that will be humidified and flattened. This one is Poor Farm Supplies. So this is an advertisement for bidding for supplies for the Poor Farm. And if you're not familiar with the Poor Farm, it was located northwest of town. If if you would go out to where the old Scully place is and go out a little farther off of Route 121, you get past the Scullys, you go out and you'll find a stone out there that says County Farm. Ooh, we got a dirty this one. Okay, so, and like I said, I should probably be wearing a mask, but you wouldn't hear what I'm saying if I did. So gently over here with that pretty brittle paper. But we just clean it up best we can. Keep going over it till we feel comfortable that we've got everything off that's going to be contaminating other things in whatever file it's going to be in, because I do have some other things from the county farm. Get this cleaned up a little bit. We'll see what they're asking people to bid on. I'm sure it's probably 1900 as well. Okay, brush it off a little so I don't have to carry that into the humidifier. This will look much better once it's flattened out. At least we got the names of the Poor Farm Committee. These would be the people on the county board. They would be the, at that time, the township trustees, or township board of trustees, right? James Abbott, James H. Abbott, Thomas Christie, and Samuel Music. Farm was a place for indigent people to go live if they had no means to take care of themselves. People doing genealogy research, and genealogy is pretty much starting out with a person's birth, death, and marriage and all the official stuff that happens in their life, but then you start adding this stuff in and it makes that genealogy a family history. So I'll not bore you with cleaning this stuff anymore. Let's see what else we might have in here. It looks like I've got a busy afternoon catching up on the dirt on these. And what I'll do is when I get it cleaned up, I will take still pictures of this and do a slideshow addition to this this video. So I'll go ahead and work on that so you don't have to be bored getting at that stuff. And then I probably got 2 or 3 times that much still in the box to go through. So it might take several videos to show you everything we found in here. And then like I said, I've got the other rolls at the center that I will bring home and do the same thing to. And we'll start you out so you can see the beginning of each of the rolls, you know, the cutting open and unwrapping everything. And then we will, I'll take the time to clean it up and make still pictures to show you. But that's what we do. And this is the kind of adventure we get into with these rolls. We don't know what's inside, just like the metal detectorist doesn't know what's in the ground under that signal he's getting, or she's getting, or you don't know, the bottle collecting people don't know in the dump what's in that ground until they get there. We don't either. And some of these things are the gold coins that everybody wishes to find, and some of them are the aluminum pull tabs. Like you saw with that first roll, we get our chair pull tabs. So until the next time, have an enjoyable day.